Yay.
Yay. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Micki and I are here to share all about projectorness with you all. There's quite a few people that are going to be coming into the replay today. So we'll just get started, and then if anyone comes in later, as soon as this is done, you'll receive an email that you can join the replay. So if at any point you do have to leave as well, go for it and just come back to the replay. There's a couple things that we have at the end, particularly a guided channeled message from Micki and some energy healing from me. So if you're not in a place to totally receive that right now, definitely recommend coming back to that. We also have a special offer at the very end of this as well that will only be around for 48 hours. So make sure that you come back to listen to that offer as well, so that you don't miss that. And without further ado, we will get into what we have set up for you today. So we'll introduce ourselves first because there's quite a few of you that we don't know yet. You might know us in various ways, maybe by listening to Micki's podcast or through social media or whatever it may be. But we thought it'd be a good opportunity to share with you who we are. So Micki, did you want to start? And then also not only who we are, but how our learning that we are projectors has changed our life in functioning as who we are.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Skylar. I'm so excited. I'm like, welcome to the Successful Projector. Oh my gosh, this has been in the works now for a couple months, I guess, Skylar?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like to see it kind of in its first moments is really exciting. So I just want to say a big thank you for everybody for being here, for showing up, because we have so much to share with you. We've learned a lot about being projectors, so I'm excited to share it with all of you. So my name is Michaela Pike. I go by Micki on the show, on the podcast. If you didn't find me through the podcast, it's Our Manifestation Journey is the name of it. On that journey, honestly, is where I discovered human design. I think around the same time as Skylar, actually, through our mutual friend, Karina, who is now a human design coach. But so yes, I'm a podcast coach. That's not me. I'm a podcast.
You have
kind
a program.
Kind of a podcast coach. I'm a podcast host. I'm a filmmaker, particularly focusing on directing and script supervision. And I'm a mom of 3 generator boys. One's a man gen, and then 2 generators. And I'm a channel, so I'm able to channel messages. So I discovered that I was a projector, I think it's 2 years ago now. And the information absolutely changed my life. I'm a 2/4 mental projector. So apparently, projectors, we're getting into this, are 20% of the population, but mental projectors, I think, are like, I want to say like 7% of the 20%. So like, it's a very small group. So once I started to understand the natural way that projectors are supposed to operate, suddenly my whole life started to make sense. Like I thought there was something wrong with me because I couldn't keep up with other people. I didn't have the same energy levels. And once I understood that I'm not meant to operate that way, suddenly this permission slip was given to me, and my life completely changed. My language completely changed. My marriage changed. Like all the relationships with the people in my life suddenly changed because I had language around it and understanding and knowledge around it. So part of the reason that we started this group is because of that. Like, this information has drastically changed my life. And now I want to get to the point where not just I know about being a projector and how it helps me in my everyday life, but how to use it to get to that ultimate success, which is what I want for all of you too. So thank you for joining us, and I'll let you take it away, Skylar.
Awesome. So this is really Micki's brainchild. She's the one that came to me about it. And I was like, heck yes, I would love to do this with you and share not only like strategies and support that has really helped us. So I am a registered holistic nutritionist, a hypnotherapist, and a Reiki master. And so I use all of those modalities to really bring greater balance into people's life, particularly to support people in preventing burnout. Because before learning that I was a projector, that was definitely something that was pretty common to me. And I'd never really understood or could understand why I could go. And then all of a sudden, I'd break, basically. I'd either get really sick or emotional fatigue or whatever it may be. And we're going to get into even more of that later on in this training and what that might look like, how that might support you or deter you and all of that. So this has been a huge game changer, though, learning I was a projector in my abilities to be an entrepreneur. So there is some big shifts, particularly even in this last year, that I have made from not doing so much around my time. So working for my time, instead finding other ways to use my energy to make a greater impact. And when I chose to make that decision, I had my first couple months of making about $10,000 a month working for my time, working with one-on-one clients predominantly only. And then, so it was only 2 months of doing that where I was like, okay, I'm at my max at doing it this way. I need to switch things. And from the outside perspective, I had lots of people a little bit looking at me sideways, being like, are you kidding me? Like, you've only been doing this for 2 months, reaching 10,000. Why are you switching everything and the complete way that you want to offer things now? And I'm like, because I'm going to burn out otherwise. This is not good for me. So knowing your needs, knowing how to stop being that people pleaser and stop doing things in the way that most of society does things, allowing yourself to do things differently is the biggest component of being a projector, because we do operate so differently. So then when we are allowed to see through expansion of other people, and then also from our own experiences of becoming more conscious of how this all works, it becomes so much easier to live a life that feels more balanced. And therefore, when it feels more balanced, you're more aligned. And when you're more aligned, you're capable of bringing in more invitations and more success. So that's really what we're going to dive into today, whether there is a few people on this call, at least one in particular, that's not even a projector. She is a reflector, and we know that. And I imagine she's coming on this call because she has a lot of projectors in her life. So she just wants to learn more about projectors. So whether you're on this call because you're a projector or not, there's going to be so many tidbits and takeaways that you can take from this. Also, us as projectors, we are meant to embody and learn how to work in a way that is different from the regular way that people assume to be productive. So time productivity, we're meant to do it differently. And then we're meant to teach others how to do that differently because it's supposed to come easier to us. So that's what we're going to start getting into today. So we hope that there's a ton of takeaways that you can take from just this free event today. All right, we'll get into it.
There's going to be lots.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Break down our agenda for today.
Yes. So this has been as advertised, but I just kind of want to give us all, so we're all on the same page, a bit of a refresher what we're going to be talking about today. So what is a projector? Just basic. I want to say I am in no way trained in human design. I am just sharing what I've learned about being a projector, as much as I've learned, actually, along with a little bit of research. But this is why we're all here, because we want to learn more, right? So we're going to talk about what it is to be a projector, why it's important to know you are one, and then what to do about it, how to find alignment in a generator world. We all want to know this. My favorite tips, Skylar's favorite tip, and then what to expect as a member of the Successful Projector. And then, of course, at the end, a channeled message and energy transmission from both myself and Skylar. And then there'll actually be an offer that we'll give to you after that. So stay tuned.
Okay.
So, what is a projector? Okay, so I decided to put up my chart just to give us a bit of an example and a reference for what I'm talking about when I'm referring to a projector. So we're only 17 to 21% of the population, and we do not have a defined sacral. Skylar, do you want to point out, I don't have the arrow. Do you want to point out the sacral area? Yeah, right there in the middle on your chart. So I hope in the email that was sent out, we asked you to bring your chart to this meeting. And we will highly recommend, all of our meetings for the Successful Projector, highly recommend bringing your chart, because there's going to be words and language that's going to be used, that's going to be referring to specific parts of your chart specifically. So I want to make sure that you're getting well versed in your chart, so you know what they're talking about when they're talking about, for example, one of the aura types. So there are 5 aura types with projectors. Mental, which is me, which is just, I think it's, you can have your throat defined, but it's throat, ajna, and crown. And then everything else underneath is empty. So that's the mental projector. Self-projected splenic. Skylar's a splenic, so she'd be able to know that one a bit more than I would.
I'm emotional.
Oh, you're emotional. I'm sorry. I thought
Yeah.
you were splenic. My mom's splenic. You're emotional. Yeah. So there's, self-projected, splenic, emotional, and then ego and heart. So I don't know the ins and outs of all of these other ones. Again, it's part of the reason why I'm here and why I wanted to find this group, because we are even so different within this one, 20%. So it's really important that we all know what our differences are, unique nuances are, to know even further how to define and understand our gifts. We'll get to why that's important in a second. And then our strategy is waiting for the invitation. So this is really important, waiting for the invitation. It's, again, something that Skylar's going to talk about in a little bit more depth. It doesn't mean sitting on your hands and waiting for nothing to happen. There's it's this balance between not forcing yourself with the desperate energy and waiting for something to spark your interest and your curiosity and acting on that. But it's an important strategy, because you don't want to overexert yourself, because you're going to get burnt out. You don't want to insert yourself in situations where you see something maybe going wrong and you want to help, but then you're going to be it's not welcome for that advice, and you're going to be met with not being seen, not feeling validated and knowing that what you see is true, which is one of our gifts as projectors. And then you get to be known as a know-it-all or something, right? So this strategy is extremely important. And the more you feel yourself going against it, the more unaligned you're going to feel. So it's something that especially in this group, I want to give a lot of support for fellow projectors.
And just before we move on from this, these 5 aura types, it is so important. This is how we start to learn even how our intuition works and how to guide our intuition. So we're going to talk about how the community looks at the end of this conversation today, but we'll have a surprise for you, or we'll share with you just an example of how we're going to start deep diving right away in the community on learning about these different types, and some expert advice and experts that we're going to bring in to help us learn about this. So as we go through the material today, there will be a lot of stuff that will be beneficial that you can take away with you right away. But I'm sure there's also going to be languaging and things that both Micki and I say that are going to be oh, fuck, I don't understand that, or I'm not there yet, or how do I get there? And just a reminder that this is specifically what our community group is all about, and why when we build the community group, we've decided that we want to meet weekly, and each session will be recorded weekly in case you can't make the lives, because there's so much information and we can learn and we can shift things really fast. But in order to actually show up consistently is how we're going to be able to do that. So some more things about being a projector. Really, these are things that I've really learned for myself that have really helped shift how I see success, rather than being in alignment with bitterness, essentially. And so bitterness is our sign that we are not in alignment. So we are meant to, our energy system works in a way that we're meant to help people remember how their energy works. So often we are more gravitated towards energy medicine modalities potentially, or simply we are able to see sort of bigger pictures and able to help strategize and make things faster and easier. And so getting yourself and realizing what your gifts and your talents are is going to help you to be seen for these gifts and these talents. And then embodying and creating what we want in the world. So a lot of us have the ability of seeing where things go wrong. And sometimes we find we get into arguments, or maybe we just get really frustrated, or we just sort of feel like we're being even isolated because we see things in a different way than how the majority of people see things. Well, we are meant to be the like new paradigm thought leaders that are able to and capable of sharing how we see the world. And when we put ourselves in situations where we are being seen and in the space to receive invitations, we are able to make a greater impact. But if we don't put ourselves in spaces where we are being seen for invitations and inviting in invitations, then often we're just going to be met with arguments, or being considered we are know-it-alls, or just in general, there will be a disconnect that is occurring that's making you feel like you're swimming upstream rather than having things come into flow. And so being an example of how to master energy, we are going to be, if you know nothing about energy, or if you know even a little bit about energy, I will particularly be harnessing and helping you understand your own energy and how to utilize it so that you are magnetic. It's one of the most important things that I'll continue to share even within this session, of how I was able to switch from not feeling like my time showed up my productivity, but rather my energy creates my productivity. And so if you don't really understand what that means, we'll be getting into that in more detail throughout the next slides. So our role on this planet is really, as projectors, is to allow for our own specific light to shine through, our uniqueness to shine through, so that we can teach others how to work more effectively as well. So the projector is the newest form of, the newest human design type. Type. So there's the generators, manifesting generators, reflectors, and projectors. Projectors came to be in the 1700s, around the industrial age, as we were starting to get away from using our emotions, using our thoughts, and using our energy to get what it is that we want. And so in the industrial society, it all started becoming more about logic, more about time for money. And so it was the need to come back to recognizing that our thoughts, our emotions, and our energy are so powerful. And so we as projectors innately are able to do this in an easier way than the rest of society. And therefore we are here to teach others how to do this. So if you feel a little bit far away from this yourself right now, as you're listening into this, that's totally fine. That's what this is all about, is just to sort of spark these seeds, essentially, to make you recognize and to see the potential of where you are meant to be within your own energy system. And that success is really our natural state. We're really supposed to really just show up in alignment and then just have success come into our reality. So we work with magic more than we work with productivity. So right now, people assume productivity to be go, 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 work, 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 work. no time for rest, no time for balance, no time. If you are resting, you are not productive. That's sort of the mindset that we operate on in this society. Whereas that's not how we operate in general. The more we push ourselves, the more burnt out we become. And then we often either get sick, or we have a physical ailment that happens, or we just completely break down and are emotional. And so what I've really started to learn for myself as I've started embodying my projectorness, and I do feel grateful that I work for myself as well. And so I'm able to give myself more time freedom. And that's obviously my goal. When I have a big week ahead of me, when I have a lot of deadlines, I still really try to honor not working more than 3 or 4 hours a day, because I know for me that that is my best way of continually operating. And so intention becomes so much more powerful than time does for us as projectors. So when we are becoming mindful of, okay, I have this and this I have to get done, and just simply putting the intention that it will get done as it gets done, and kind of forgetting about how it's going to get done, but trusting that it does get done and it will get done, ends up bringing the magic in that then shows the productivity. And I've been working on this for about a year now, and I see this show up in my life consistently all the time. With Micki, this is a perfect example, even with building this event today. Like, it probably only took each of us maybe I won't speak for you, Micki, but for me, it took me maybe about 2.5 hours of really like sit down work to prepare, to offer, even with the marketing and stuff as well. And that doesn't really make sense for how much we actually have provided and put in. But when you listen to yourself and you know, okay, I have energy right now, this feels exciting right now, I want to do this right now, what you're able to get done becomes a lot faster. So we'll talk about this a little bit more even today, but really understanding this concept that we can essentially bend time and helping to teach you how to do so in order to recognize that our time does not create our productivity. In fact, the more rest that we provide for ourselves, the more magnetic we often become, the more invitations we receive, the more productivity shows up. So why is it important to know you are a projector?
And what to do about it.
And what to do about
it. Yeah. So for me, as I alluded to in the beginning, being a projector isn't like knowing any other piece of information about yourself. So what I mean by that is, we know like horoscopes have been around forever, right? Like actually, Skylar and I are both Leos. So we know that about ourselves. And, I'm a rising Virgo, so I like things like a bit more organized. And, like there's this kind of overarching, these archetypes for horoscopes that are like helpful. And this is not knocking horoscopes at all, because you can find a lot of information, the kind of deeper dive that you go. However, what this does, this knowing that you're a projector, once you understand this, suddenly your life is going to make so much more sense. You're going to understand that you're not meant to operate like 80% of the planet. The world is structured for generators. That 9 to 5, right? The 5-day work week, like that's generator time periods. We don't need that much time to get stuff done. We can get it done in a couple of hours in the day. But a lot of us have been raised in, conditioned in, and have to work in that type of environment. And then suddenly we're all shocked and confused as to why we're feeling burnt out or stressed or bitter or frustrated, or we're getting all these physical ailments that are problems. And like your body literally shuts down. When I first heard about human design, I put my information wrong and I thought it said generator. So I tried to operate like a generator for a year and I burnt out hard. I actually got vertigo from it, and I was completely debilitated for 3 months. Like I was forced to lay on bed rest because I couldn't move my head, otherwise the room would spin. I developed panic attacks. It was like a whole thing. And then it was the year later that I was like, Great is like, you're a projector? And I was like, this makes so much sense. I have all these stories that were coming to mind of like, I used to call Fridays cry-days. Like, seriously, like I would, at the work, I'd be like, hey, bye everybody, I'm going to cry. And they'd be like, bye. Like, it was like a whole, we just accept that Micki's really emotional and like, she kind of just needs a little bit more breaks than us or whatever. But I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought that I can't keep up with everybody else, or I'm lazy, or I cry all the time. And I used to work in the service industry and everyone used to compare me against my sister who's a generator. And they're like, why can't you keep up with her? And I would be crying in shifts all the time. And like, I was a mess. It was a mess because I'm not meant to operate in that world. And I was so hard on myself for not being able to keep up. So when this information came across, it's like, oh my God. And I started sharing it with everybody in the family and my mom and my dad and my sisters and my husband and my brother-in-law. And everyone's like, this makes so much sense. I know, like I would miss out on things like, New Year's Day, they would be out in the hot tub. Like, I'm like, I need a nap. I need to sleep. They're like, what's wrong with you? You're missing out. It's like, no, like I need time and space alone. And we're going to talk about these tips that we've learned over time, both Skylar and I. But the point of it all being, knowing that you're a projector and knowing how to utilize your specific gifts based on your blueprint is going to naturally launch you into success, because you're just going to be happier. Your vibration is going to be higher. You're not going to be wasting and draining all of this energy on feeling guilty and shameful for just being who you're supposed to be. That like flew out of me. I could talk about this all day long. I'm so passionate about it. And like, I cannot wait to learn more about myself and for each of you to learn more about yourself so that you can understand how to become the naturally successful person that you're supposed to be. Yeah. Thanks, Skylar. Okay. So this unaligned projector, as I alluded to, was me for the majority of my life. So feeling like a failure all the time, bitter constantly, particularly when I was raising my first two babies. So pregnant and then, one baby, and then 7 months later got pregnant with the second one. That was a happy accident, but an accident nonetheless. And I was, by the time Charles, my second, was a year old, I was spent. I was like extremely bitter, like doing the simplest things, like washing a dish. I'm like, why am I the only one washing dishes? Like, clearly I'm not the only one washing dishes, but like, that's just the energy that I was in. I was just frustrated all the time and crying and like, just like, it was too much, right? Obviously lack of sleep too. Projectors need a lot of sleep. So I wasn't sleeping as much. And it was just like this, like, and I didn't have the language around it at the time. Unmotivated, feeling desperate. So yep, like this is like, I was seeking the attention of my husband in a way, like pay attention to me. Like, cause I wasn't feeling fulfilled. I didn't know how to pay attention to myself. I thought I needed that external validation. And projectors, especially, we need to understand how to see ourselves and not have others, not rely on others seeing us, but you can do it in a more natural way. Again, Skylar's going to talk about in a second. Attention seeking, depressed, burnt out. So many projectors get burnt out. Again, I'm one of them, and unsatisfied. So an aligned projector. So this is someone who understands their gifts, understands how they're naturally meant to operate, feels confident in showing their gifts to the world, and like doesn't seek that external validation all the time. You're going to feel successful, joyful, motivated, validated, feeling seen, happy, energized, and satisfied. Not like 100% of the time. Don't get me wrong. We all have like cycles and stuff, but like for the most part, you're going to feel so, from my word is just validated in how you're meant to feel and how you're naturally meant to operate as yourself and not trying to fit into the mold that the world has created for us. This is amazing. Yeah.
So my idea, well, not even my idea, but like as success comes, it really does come from working smarter and utilizing our unique gifts and talents. So you may have even like can consider for yourself some ways in which if you work a 9-to-5 job, if you've been working 9-to-5 jobs, or even within jobs that you've had in the past in general, you can probably point out times or know that you've been validated for times in which you have been a really hard worker and also brought to the table new strategies, new ways that have helped the space. And so, for instance, I think of one for myself, for example, where I was an ice cream, I was managing an ice cream store. I did that for years when I was in high school and university. And just at one point, we had to bring all of the ice cream boxes into the deep freezer. And so there was just something little that I did to switch them. And at first, the owner was like, why the hell did you do this? And then recognized that it was actually to save time. And the product was also totally fine as well. And he's like, oh my God, that's genius. That makes so much sense. And so that's a perfect example that us as projectors and how we can value ourselves showing up for our jobs, showing up for our work. So if you don't work for yourself, if you work for someone else, knowing these aspects of yourself will help you to gain greater self-worth that might be able to even help you show up and ask for a raise or ask to shift the way that you come into work so that it can be beneficial for you. And this might feel like, even as I'm saying this right now, so far away and so resistant to you, like, oh, there's no way I could ask to operate like that, or whatever it may be. But really, the intention of this group is to help you to harness and see what your gifts are. And then as a result of that, you will naturally start valuing yourself more. And that will allow others to see your value more as well. So there will be this sort of circle that occurs and happens. And I see it within myself as an entrepreneur because I set the rates that I set. And there's no way I would be able to set the rates that I have right now for some of the work that I do if it wasn't for being able to recognize what I bring to the table and the value that I bring to the table. And that is self-worth stuff. That is creating shifts in how our mindset and how we see ourselves. And so this community is really going to support that as well, of bringing the mindset and the energetics so that you can embody your projectorness and not feel guilty or stressed by it. Because another way that success really comes for us is that we have strong boundaries and we stop being people pleasers. But it is so easy for us to be people pleasers because often, because of that open sacral chakra, we can link in and understand people's energies, sometimes even better than we understand our own needs. And so it actually becomes just unconsciously easier for us to pick up on what someone else needs and then dishonor our own needs as a result. So this is a shift that we're really going to help support you with. You can know what someone else needs, but also make sure you're honoring your own needs at the same time and making sure that you're not abandoning yourself, because that's where the misalignment starts to come in, when we start doing for others and only doing for others and abandoning ourselves. So there's balance. We can create the balance. So how to find alignment in a generator world? So this is sort of like a list that both Micki and I have been utilizing and coming together with ourselves. So for the first two, like using your energy when you have it, harnessing bursts of energy when you do have it, and then taking breaks to recharge. So important. And so Micki will touch on this probably a little bit too, but even if, like, especially if you work a job that does have specific breaks, what are you doing on those breaks? Are you getting yourself a nourishing meal and being able to sit and enjoy and eat that nourishing meal in some peace and quiet so that you're away from all the energies of everyone else so you can recharge your energy for a moment? Are you, maybe it's only 15 minutes so you can take a step outside and get into nature and ground yourself for a moment? Or are you chatting with a bunch of people on your phone and maybe just wasted that 15-minute break, and now it will maybe create more exhaustion in you? So just getting really questioning that time off and what you're doing with that time off versus the work time and what you're doing with the work time. And then secondly, scheduling high energy tasks when you know you'll have the energy to do so. So one thing that I really do want to incorporate into our monthly expert offerings is even bringing in like a hormonal coach who is teaching us about our periods and explaining to us when the low dips in our energy happen, because for us as projectors, we will be even more sensitive to our hormone patterns and what those look like. And then again, it's something that maybe we can be teaching to others as well. If you've had a really long weekend and it wasn't really a restful weekend, and then you get to Monday and you're exhausted, and maybe you have sick days in the bank that you can use. And even though you're not actually sick, you need to take and be able to feel guilt-free and taking those mental health days for preventative measures that you can restore yourself when you have the ability to do so. So for instance, even for me today, like I had the busiest weekend and then we had this scheduled as well. So this afternoon, I'm not doing anything. I canceled my plans with my parents because I know that won't necessarily fill me up. It will probably drain me. And so I don't give myself guilt anymore for canceling things. And if that feels like something, again, that feels resistant and like, oh no, like you can't cancel things like that. You can't let people down by doing that. Again, something that we might help to shift and work on for you if that does feel like something that you want support in working on during these community meetings, because really it's, again, honoring your own needs so that then you can show up in greater service to those that are around you in ways that work best for you. So we will break down what these meetings look like, but there will be like Q&A aspects of the meetings so that we can do some direct specific coaching for what's going on in your life, so that because something works for me and because something works for Micki, it might have to look different for you with whatever's going on in your life. And we will make sure to support that and address that as we can, both ourselves and when we bring in these experts as well.
Okay, so I've got number 3, which is be intentional with your time. This is actually something Skylar taught me, and it sounds like it's kind of everywhere, like be intentional, set an intention. But if you actually try it, for me, it was a game changer. It was a total game changer. And prioritizing self-care, self-awareness. I used to get teased for how much I loved self-care. Like, be like, oh, you're doing that again? Like baths, I'm famous for baths, love baths. Like, like if we're going on vacation, I'm like, does it have a bathtub? Everyone's like, does it have to have a bathtub? I'm like, yes, it has to have a bath. Like I need that luxury, that self-care. It's so important to me because recharging for us is so important, right? Setting ourselves aside from the rest of the world is so important, especially as moms. Like when Skylar was talking about like sensing the needs of everybody else, I was like, that is my whole day. Like suddenly it's 2:00 and I haven't eaten or brushed my teeth. It's actually a running joke where I like send a picture of myself brushing my teeth to a fellow mom because I'm like, what's your record? Because mine's like 6 p.m. that I finally brushed my teeth that day, but it's because I'm so concerned and busy and naturally like good at and intuitive in understanding the needs of everybody else around me. So it's really important. It's this delicate balance that I'm able to, in the little pockets of time that I have in the day, that I'm not scrolling on my phone and that I'm not like, oh, I'm going to be productive right now and I'm going to go do this thing. Like, no, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to put my feet in the grass, or I'm going to go sit by the water, or I'm going to just meditate for 5 minutes or do like a little bit of like yoga for 5 minutes. Like whatever pockets of time that you have, be super intentional about them. Don't waste them. And the more that you do that, by the way, it can be doing absolutely nothing. Just laying down, just lay down. It doesn't have to be like, okay, so then I'm going to do this. Like, I don't want you to overthink it. I just want you to start to listen to your body and take care of it, the needs that your body has, and do the things that are going to heal and nourish and take care of your body, and not things that we all do when we're stressed and need to burn out, like eat a bunch of cookies. And there's a time and place for cookies. I'm not here to knock cookies, but don't do it mindlessly, do it mindfully. And of course, Skylar alluded to this, saying no to activities and events that don't align with your energy levels or your goals. So it's okay to say no, especially if you think about it and you're like, that's going to drain me. And like, I have things all the time in the day. Like I've got kids. So like changing a diaper, not my favorite thing to do. But there are times and places and events and things that you are allowed to say no to. And maybe it could go one way and maybe make people upset for a moment, but you are creating that boundary. So it's a good thing. Either way, it's a good thing. But what it can do also is show people that they are allowed to say no if they're not feeling it, right? That's what we're here to do. So give yourself that permission slip. It's okay. You can say no.
Mm-hmm. And then along that similar lines, spending time with people that want to hear your unique perspectives and see you for your gifts that you have. And it might have a little bit of a transition period for you. I know that when I started to learn that I was a projector, I just became so conscious of the people that were in my life that were not in alignment, and maybe were not supporting me in the ways that I felt needed to be supported. A perfect example is when like you're sharing your opinions with people, they're arguing with them, or they are trying to shut them down, or again, like you're making yourself feel, or you're being felt to be a know-it-all, and they're just not receiving what you have to say well. And so again, this is why this community is built, is that if you need a community, if you need a mastermind style space where it is a safe space to be seen, this is an opportunity and a space that we do that for you. And one thing I do want to say about the saying no to activities and events that don't align with you. So going back to that concept that as a projector, we know generally that we are in the right space to offer our offers because we are being invited to do so. But the more in alignment we become, the more invitations we receive, and not every invitation we receive will be the right invitation for us. And so being able to discern what is right for us and what might not be right for us is really based on understanding what our goals are personally, and how that looks and how that works for us, and being able to start learning more about yourself through human design helps you to do that. So the projector kryptonite, not knowing when to stop. We do not have an off switch. So because that sacral space is so open for us, when especially we are working that sort of classic 9-to-5 job, or in any spaces with a ton of generators, we do feed off of their energy. And so we do have this like false capability of being able to go and do. And Micki has a great story to explain this. But then what happens to us that doesn't happen to generators is we do get to a point of crash and burn, whereas generators are able to sort of restore their own energy. Like as they sleep, they restore their energy, blah, blah, blah. But over time, if we're in go mode, it will get to a point that we crash and burn. And so Micki, I'll share that. I'll let you share your story with us.
Yeah. And I love that point too, that because I have been in a situation like when I'm working on film sets, I'm in my ultimate element, and it's because I am feeding off of the energy of the set, and I'm in my passion. I'm in something that I'm like I'm on top of the world when I'm in a film set. So like, there is like, this isn't to knock like the generator world, and we can totally harness that energy and use it to our benefit. However, I was working in a production house, this is probably over 5 years ago now, right when I got out of university, and I'd come from the service industry where like, you don't get breaks. Like you're working like 15-hour days and you're lucky if you get like a sandwich. Like, it's just like, it's bananas. So you're just conditioned. Like, I don't need a break. I don't need food. Breaks are for losers. Breaks are for weak people. I got this. I'm fine. Sorry?
Or people who smoke in the
For people
restaurant.
who smoke. Yeah, exactly. So I got into this production house and I was editing away, and someone was like, don't you need a break? And I was like, I don't believe in breaks. And the owner, my boss, is standing behind me and I didn't see him. And I turn around and he just looks at this, like kind of the manager above me. And he was just like, I love her. Like the validation that came from the reward, this being seen, right, came from this external validation of like, oh, good, she doesn't believe in breaks. And so therefore I'm like, yeah, I don't need a break. And like, but I would cry every Friday. Like, that's not normal. Like, I was like, oh, I'm just an emotional person. I cry every Friday. Like literally like had a Kleenex box beside my desk. Like it was just for me because of how often I would cry at this job. Not because I didn't enjoy the job. I loved the job, but it just because I can't physically keep up. So, and I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't being intentional with my time. I didn't understand how I was naturally supposed to operate. So I was rewarded for that comment and of course would burn out on a regular basis. So that's my story.
I have a few of those as well. I won't go into detail, but I worked for a lot of different people before working for myself. And the same thing would always happen where it was like, I was rewarded and got into management positions because of my hard work. And then eventually it got to a point where like I hit a wall and it felt so out of character. The people that were the owners above me had no idea how to handle me because I would just fucking freak out. I would have an emotional breakdown, a total mental breakdown. And I was so confused too, because I was like, well, how can my friends around me be continuing to go, go, go? And why does this always happen to me where I get to this place? So learning I was a projector made so much more sense with that. And another point as well to what Micki was saying, just about like using our energy around generators, and that can be super supportive. Like on days that I have admin work I have to do or computer work I have to do and I'm feeling tired. So for instance, today, like if I have more work I have to do today and I need to get it done in this deadline, I will go to a coffee shop. I will use the energy of those generators and support myself because that coffee shop is so helpful in bringing some energy into me essentially. And then after that, I will go down to the water. I will sit by the water. I will restore my energy with the water and create more balance. So it's like that awareness of, okay, if I need a day of hard work, what am I going to do for myself to restore? And so just a reminder of that we can bring that balance into ourselves. So some extra tips.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so when you feel yourself feeling bitter, overwhelmed, excuse yourself from the space. This actually happened to me yesterday. I was getting bitter and overwhelmed and tired, and someone had left the diaper disposal thing open, so the room just like reeked of not nice things. I don't want to say what it is because it's gross, but like it smelled like dirty diapers. So I literally looked at the diaper disposal and went like this. Just like, oh. And then I was like, that's not good. Like, I think a more relaxed me would be like, well, that sucks. And I'd go over and I'd put it down and then maybe gesture to someone, whoever changed the diaper last, to keep it. But I was just past the point. So I live with my mom. She was around to help with the baby yesterday. So I said, I just need 10 minutes. It's just 10 minutes. It's all I need. And she was like, sure, no problem. So I left, I went out. We live close to the water. So I went down by the water and I just breathed for 10 minutes. Came back in. I was a completely different person. I was like, we're good. Like, what do you got now? Like, I was calm. I was like, it's amazing what 10 minutes can do. I'm going to skip to number 3 for a second because it's the same, but like also crucial. This is one of the things Karina taught me the moment she told me I was a projector. She's like, you need to be horizontal once a day in the middle of the day. ideally minimum 10 minutes, if you can just lay down. So if you find like I've been sitting here brainstorming and like, okay, if you work in an office, what can you do? So if there are any offices that you can close the door that nobody's in, if you have your own office, lay on the floor. I'm not joking, for 10 minutes. No one has to know. Just do what you have to do to lay down. Like if you can get outside, it's not weird to lay on the grass. People lay on the grass. Lay on the grass for 10 minutes. That physical act of being horizontal is going to do wonders. I assure you, I've done it so many times with me and the kids and everybody else say to Mason, I need to tap out for 10 minutes. He's like, okay, I've done it. And it does so much for me, my energy, my aura, to be separate and laying down. Huge projector hack. Try it. And Skylar brought this one up and it's really important as well. If you can't excuse yourself, breathe. Be intentional in the moment, in that time. Breathe. And you can even visualize energy like leaving from your body. You can protect yourself with energy around your body. And like, I mean, if you want to know more about that, take one of Skylar's Reiki courses. But just the actual intention of breathing and resetting your body will help you. That's if you can't excuse yourself.
And before we,
yep, you go ahead.
Sorry, before we move on from that point, it only takes 3 deep breaths. So like belly breaths and intentional breaths for your parasympathetic nervous system to switch on, which is your rest and digest nervous system. So that's why, like, if there's chaos going on, giving yourself those 3 intentional deep breaths will likely switch that nervous system into a more regulated state, which then will create more clarity and make you feel a little bit more flow. So it can be really powerful, just those 3 deep breaths, if you don't have the 10 minutes. Another thing too, is that when we start to learn more about the types of auras of projectors, Micki being a mental projector, she has some of like the least energy of all the projectors. So that desire, or that need to like lie down for 10 minutes becomes even more important for her. And that is something that we'll like go into in the first month together. But just as a side note, I want to.
No, that's fair. That's
some
totally
of these
fair.
points are even more important for particular styles of projectors.
Yeah. And I love that. It's so true, because these are the tips that I use that's worked really well for me. But you're right. Like, a lot of them are based on like my personal experience, and being a mental projector, I'm just empty from here down. Like, I'm like, come at me, world. Like, I'm just so affected by everyone and everything around me. And that's what these tips honestly have mostly to do with. So yeah, we talked about this already. Number 4, don't scroll on your phone. Like, if you can take as many intentional breaks, and don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of this. I will scroll on my phone. Sometimes I just feel so dead and so depleted, and I just want to laugh, and I'll go to my personal Instagram account and I'll just laugh for 10 minutes. Sometimes there's a time and place for that. What I'm saying is, don't do it all the time. Be intentional about the time that you're given. Tend to your environment. Again, this is us. Like, we've got all these sort of open energy centers. And again, for me, from here down, it's really important. But like, the environment, the people that you're around, the spaces that you're in, it all affects your energy and can drain and deplete you. Like right now, the baby's room is a disaster because I'm switching clothes over for him and it's driving me crazy. So like that kind of thing. If you're feeling like depleted and down, there are things that you can do to shift around your environment. Maybe it's a messy desk, maybe it's your room, your whatever it is. But just pay attention to that, because that might be something that's siphoning your energy. And then don't multitask. This is again about being intentional with your energy. Skylar, I'm gonna let you talk about this one a little bit more, because you were telling me about this like yesterday or something. So I'm gonna let you take that one.
Sure. Yeah. So a couple ways that we can start incorporating this in right away, of the not multitasking and becoming aware of just how supportive that is for your energy. So essentially, let's say you have a to-do list of things that you have to get done in the day. First of all, you can do the to-do list based on what's most important, the prioritizing, or you can practice doing it on what excites you the most at that time. And then only focus on that thing. And then when you're only focusing on that thing, because you don't have all these other things going on, it will likely take you less time. You'll have more focus on how to do it, what to do, blah, blah, blah. But if you have your phone beside you and you're doing other things as well, what would likely maybe take you only 10 minutes to do, and maybe the average person 30 minutes to do, that 10 minutes, if you're doing other things as well, is going to be maybe 50 minutes, right? And so all of a sudden you don't have as much time, and then you have to go pick your kids up or do this or whatever. So if you create that to-do list, start doing the things that excite you most, if there aren't particular things that are of priority, and then focusing on just doing. So if you got to cook, you're just cooking. You're not cooking and trying to make lunches for the next day and trying to do this. You're just focusing on cooking. If you have to do something for work, you're just focusing on that one task. It also will likely provide more enjoyment for you for those particular things that you're doing, creating more presence, allowing your energy to not leak into different spots and to be focused on certain areas. So if there's anything that you take away from today, just trying to bring some of that. Again, it's like the opposite of how we are told to operate, right? Like productivity means multitasking, means trying to get everything done all at once. And when we peel that back, we become more intentional, we become more present, and then we are able to get things done even faster. Okay, so
yeah, I want to talk about this quickly just because. So I made that little hot tips page, and then Skylar had this, she brought these whole other points to the table, and these are from Skylar's experience. And like this whole group, the whole thing started because Skylar was showing me and showing the world, being seen, and showing us like her success, right? And so I had all these questions for her about how she was doing it, and these were some of the key points that she was using. So I thought that they needed their own slide. Like I was like, they could go in the hot tips, but I just found that they were much more potent, I guess, in their efficacy. But also I wanted to celebrate Skylar and these embodied tips that she has. So take it away, Skylar.
So I'm going to share them if they still feel a little confusing to you. We are incorporating bringing the embodiment into this in the community group because we're offering and bringing in experts and like my coaches who have taught me how to embody these tasks into the group so that you can embody them as well. So the very first one here, try not to project your thoughts and feelings onto others. We naturally see people, see how people are. When we aren't being invited in for our opinion, when we share our opinion, we often will get backlash. And so it's really important to recognize that. And if you become aware of how to start creating invitations for yourself, then you won't feel the need to offer your projections as unsolicited advice to people. And therefore, you will also feel more energized by offering your input because you are offering it to people that are wanting to see it and wanting to perceive it. So really becoming so aware of what that projection really means, not only from the standpoint of you project onto others, you see others, but also sometimes like we also are in the projection line a lot of the time as well. And that's way too much for this session today. But if you know more about your profiles, so like your numbers, so I'm a 5-1 projector. So I have that projection line even stronger. Even as a self-projected projector, you might have that projection line even stronger as well. And therefore, people will often project onto you in a way that is maybe they're being bad people, mean people towards you in a way that has never even, like, you don't deserve it. But at the same time, because you can see them and see what's going on with them, you might start to feel as though you're seeing their projections, you're seeing how they are seeing you, and you are starting to see that way too, and seeing that low self-worth. It's kind of like, if you've ever, and I hope none of you have, but for those that have been in abusive relationships, over time, you start to potentially believe the reality of the abuser, that you're the one in the wrong, that you're the one doing something wrong. So as a projector, that can happen very much as well if you're in these unaligned relationships or situations. And so getting more clarity on when someone is projecting their stuff onto you will help you to create better boundaries so that you don't take on that energy. So that's been hugely helpful for me in being able to not only have stronger boundaries and not take the shit of others, but also recognize when I am feeling that projection, knowing what I can do to not totally disable myself. And then it's not through the words, but the energy omitted through our aura that does make us seen. So this is something that so for myself, being an entrepreneur, being someone that needs to receive invitations, I do put so much emphasis still on my marketing and showing up on social media, but I've become aware that if I am in alignment, if I am feeling energized, it doesn't really matter how much I show up on social media, as long as I'm available to be paid or available to have invitations coming in to offer myself. The more I take care of my energy and my aura, the more invitations I receive. It actually has nothing to do with my marketing. It more has to do with who I am as someone taking care of my own energy. So for us, like doing that yoga class, doing whatever movement that feels really good for you, taking time out in nature, those are like our priorities that make us successful, not constantly showing up on social media, constantly making sure we're at work before work hours start to prove that we can be hard workers or whatever that may look like, right? So just some tips of embodiment there and how I will be able to support you in further embodying this for yourself if this feels a little far away from you right now. Okay, so we have, some people have already left, but we are getting to that 1 hour mark. We don't have too much more going on, probably about a half an hour more of content. If you do have to leave, not content, we're about to do the energy transmission. So it's actually you receiving, and we'll explain that in more detail. And then our offer for our community group. So if you do have to leave, no problem, but I really do suggest coming back so that you can receive this energy transmission. And then if you don't have to leave, buckle in and we're about to share this channeled support with you.
Okay, so what to expect from the community? I'm so excited. Okay. So each month we're going to begin the month with our guest human design expert / embodied projector. I don't think we've got both of those things. I think it's or right now, but that doesn't mean it won't be both later.
No, I would say Haley's not necessarily.
Is she an expert human design? Like she a human design coach?
No, she just uses human design in her offering. So she's the embodied projector.
We're gonna have guest speakers start off the month. So what we've asked them to do is tell us the most important thing that they feel projectors need to know. And as a projector, it's been so fun listening to what they have coming in, because I'm so excited to learn this about myself. Like I'm so excited to learn this about other projectors. So they kick it off at the beginning of the month. And then Skylar and I base what we provide for the group for the month based on the themes that they bring up. So Skylar is going to talk about or help with coaching and unblocking certain chakras or energy centers based on, the themes or ideologies that they're bringing up for us. And then I'm going to ask Source to chime in as well and give us guidance and support based on the ideas that they share with us. And then of course we'll have a session that's available, because it was really important to Skylar and I when we talked about opening up this group, that there's a spot where projectors feel seen and heard. And so that's the last week, that's what we'll be doing, is opening up the space to either talk about challenges that you're facing, or, you know, you could say like, I totally projected onto this person and I word vomited and it wasn't good, you know, like we're there to help support you, but also celebrate you. Like if you get to brag in this space, you know, like you get to feel seen. We want you to feel seen. So yeah, it was specifically designed with all of the things in mind that Skylar and I really enjoy in supporting ourselves, but also giving ourselves permission to be seen by other projectors. You can switch it if you want, Skylar.
So what you'll receive is weekly live meetings. So every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern, and they will be recorded. So we'll be each month bringing in expert advice and guidance so that you can use your energy to the best of your abilities. There will be a WhatsApp community as well. So between calls, that will be a space where we can build community. And also if like real-time situations and things come up, you can share them and then have support from Micki and I to coach you through if things need to be coached through, or celebrate if there is a shift that you've seen happen and you want to celebrate it. So just an opportunity for greater community support and expansion. So everything will also be recorded, and then mindset and energy clearings for greater alignment. So through hypnosis, through the channeled messages that Micki receives, through Reiki and other energy healing modalities, we will be helping you to further embody and decondition what needs to be deconditioned in order to step more powerfully into your projector self.
Boom. Okay.
So we did want to share with you our first basically 4 months of experts. So
Yes.
who we have coming in the next 4 months of this container. Maybe you know some of them, but if you don't, that's also totally fine. So Karina, I'll introduce Karina and then you can introduce the others.
You're on a roll, eh?
Yeah, I'm so excited. So Karina will be our first kicking off the community events with us. So July 10th will be our first community session. And Karina is both Micki and I's human design coach. So it's a real honor to be bringing her in to this for us. And then I'll let you take away the rest of it.
Well, you can also talk about Haley. I mean, I can introduce Haley, but she's someone that Skylar and I have both come across, but Skylar knows her much more intimately than I do. But she just released a book this week, actually, like yesterday. No, Saturday.
Yeah.
She just released her first book. I think it's called Unfuckwithable.
Yeah.
But for me, she is the definition of an embodied projector. She makes it look really easy and makes look pleasure and fun like it's like a prescription or something. Like it's like she's just like totally embodied that and is completely unapologetic about it, and it's very inspiring for me as a projector to see. So you can talk about her too, Skylar.
Yeah, so she's been one of my coaches for the last few years, and she is a projector herself. So her medicine, her way of expressing and speaking is really just so expansive and helps you to see the potential of where you can go and what you can be as a projector, because there are so many people I think that we are inspired by, but then we learn about them and we're like, oh, well, they're generators, they're manifesting generators. No wonder they have so much success. They like can work so hard. And so to be able to bring someone in who not only knows a ton about human design, because she does use human design in her coaching, but it is not her only aspect of her coaching. She's also an embodied projector. And so she has helped me significantly to embody these codes for myself. And so we felt of course, let's bring her in to support everyone else as well. And then backtracking to Karina for a second, Karina will be diving in with us about the different auras, so the different projector types. And she has been so supportive for both Micki and I of learning our separate projector types and how to utilize those to the best of our abilities. So that will be a really amazing deep dive. And she has such unique, she's not a projector, but she is surrounded by projectors. Her boyfriend's a projector. Most of her best friends are projectors, including Micki and I. But so she's so familiar from an outside perspective of how projectors really flourish and are supported. And so I'm excited to have her come in and express and explain to us those different energy types. And then what we do is we'll take from that, and the rest of the month we'll be working on incorporating this in.
Yeah. And when I was speaking to Karina about what she wants to come in and talk about, she lit up. Of course, she's so excited. She's like, projectors don't realize like the power of their aura. She's like, I want to really dive deep into this and help them understand. So yeah, she's going to kick things off on the 10th. Yeah, the date is there. So yeah, we're going to start with Karina, and then we're going to go with Haley in August. And then Allison Cullen, she is the CEO of You Do Woo, which is started as a podcast, but she's got all kinds of things going on. She's got human design courses. She's got money courses. I think she's got one on sobriety. Honestly, she's got so much going on. And she's got one really good manifestation course, I believe, that's doing really, really well. So she's all things. She's all woo-woo energy things, but it all started for her with human design. So yeah, so she's going to come in on the 11th, and then Danica is coming in October. And she specializes in human design, not just for yourself, but for parenting. But she's going to teach us how to reparent ourselves as projectors. So this will help you if you have projector children, and how to parent them, but it's going to be reparenting and taking care of ourselves. So, and these are just the 4 to start. So this is just the lineup up until October. And, we will continue to be inviting guest speakers in, but this is what we have to look forward to in the near future.
Okay.
Time for the fun part.
I'm going to say we should pause for just a second to let anyone go to the washroom that wants to go to the washroom. The channeled transmission will probably be about 15 minutes, you think, Micki?
Yeah, that sounds right.
So we'll explain that in more detail. There's going to be a little bit of hypnosis involved in it, just to get you into that theta state to really receive Micki's message. Hypnosis simply is just, in this aspect at least, is just a specific guided meditation that brings you into deep relaxation quite fast. So your conscious mind will still be very open, very aware, very probably thinking, perceiving. But then when you get into that theta state, that relaxing state, it's the unconscious mind that starts to open up and that starts to receive those messages that Micki's going to channel for us into our subconscious mind. And our subconscious mind really is what creates all of the programming within us, right? And so much of our programming is at this point very related to how generators operate. And so the point of this transmission and this support is to allow you to start truly feeling like your projector self at an unconscious level, even though at a conscious level, you might be aware and ready and wanting to be that projector self. We're helping you at an unconscious level to really dive into who you are as a projector. And I will be sharing some group energy transmissions at the same time. So I'll be sharing Reiki with you. If you never received distance Reiki, it will likely just feel like a lot of peace coming into your body, or maybe like a big hug coming over you, or simply you might fall asleep. And if that ends up happening, it's likely just because the conscious mind needed to get out of the way for you to truly receive. So just be open, allow yourself to be open to whatever is coming in. This is all for positive and all for your benefit. Whatever doesn't resonate with you, you will not receive anything different then. If at a conscious level, stuff that Micki's sharing with you is not resonating, don't worry about it. You won't, it's not like we're going to brainwash you at this point by any means. It's just for extra support in really helping to embody some of the information that we have gone over today. So if you want to go to the washroom or grab a water or get yourself in a more comfortable space to receive, I would suggest to do so now, and we'll be back in just about 5 minutes to offer this beautiful transmission for you.
I would say too, when they come back, just explain like what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be you, and then it's going to be me, and then it's going to be you again.
Yeah. Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Just wait till 1:20.
I want to say too, like, about a little bit about my process and like what what this message is all about. So I can say that we're waiting for people to settle in. So before I started channeling this message yesterday, I asked Source what they want the people that are in this workshop to know about being a projector. What is it that they believe is important for us to understand? So this is the message that came through. Skylar's read it. She knows what it's all about. It was really cool, like having the experience. And so when I channel, I just kind of let it all flow. And if you ask me what I wrote in the sentence before, I can't really tell you. And then once it's over, I can go back and I look and I'm like, whoa, like what you see it all together and you're like, wow, like this is, it's really cool. And like, I felt seen as a projector after reading it. So it was pretty amazing. So I'm really excited to share it with all of you. So what we're going to do is Skylar's going to introduce us and get us into that theta state. And then once we're kind of all rested, or you're all rested, I'm going to read the channeled message for all of you to then sink into your subconscious. And then Skylar's going to bring us back out of the hypnotic state or the meditation. So when you hear our voices kind of transitioning back and forth, don't be alarmed by that. That's how it's supposed to go. I hope that's helpful.
Okay, so starting to get yourself into a comfortable position.
I was gonna say too, if you're, we're not gonna put music on, but you guys are muted. So if you want to put a little bit of music on, you're welcome to. Sorry, Skylar, go ahead. I'm not going to cut you off.
No, all good.
Okay.
So just get yourself in that seated position, or maybe you'd prefer to be lying down. Starting to close your eyes and just slowing your breath down slightly. Taking a deep breath, hold it, and let the breath out slowly and completely. Concentrate your attention on your eye muscles. Relax all the muscles in your eyes, just relaxing them completely. Relax them so much that in a moment, when I ask you to, and not before, they just won't work. Relax them. Now, when you are sure they are relaxed, take another deep breath. Hold it. Exhale slowly and let that same relaxation in your eye muscles go all the way down to your toes. Let go completely. From this point on, let all outside noises increase your attention on my voice. Relax every portion of your body now. Your toes, your lower legs, all the muscles in your legs. Just let them relax. Now the upper legs. Now your hips, your stomach, your chest, your back. Relaxed, but not falling asleep. Still very much aware of everything that is going on. Able to hear me clearly. Relax the muscles in your neck now. And your shoulders, your arms, all the way out to your fingertips. Now concentrate on relaxing your jaw. Just let it hang. Relax it freely. And your tongue and all the muscles in your face. Very deeply relaxed now. Very deeply relaxed. Now you have good physical relaxation. Let's go for good mental relaxation as well. For mental relaxation, I will count slowly down from 100 to 98. I will count for you. With each number, just feel your mind relaxing and letting go. 100, 99, 98. Just let go. It feels so nice to be very deeply relaxed, not out of touch with reality, staying deeply in tune with everything I am saying, completely aware of your surroundings, allowing all noises to increase your attention and your relaxation. At this stage, you will now allow yourself to begin to relax even more deeply. It is now time that we will raise your vibrational rate with feelings of love and strong positive thoughts. You may do this by surrounding yourself with the beautiful protective white light. This white light represents truth, forgiveness, your ideal concept of self and the universe. Picture the white light now starting to glow in your heart. Allow the white light to glow in your heart. Let it increase. Feel its warmth, purity. Allow it to extend and completely surround you in a cocoon of pure, vibrant white light. This white light surrounds you and is in perfect presence with the balance that is love. You may actually see this light, or maybe you just feel it, but all you really need to do is imagine it to be there. It will always be with you. You now have this protective white light surrounding you so that your subconscious mind is only open to suggestions that are helpful and beneficial to you. Bathe yourself in the white light. Notice that you are light. No longer your body, but a sea of light. You are pure spirit. Beyond time, beyond space. Feeling this light extending in all directions. Your light is your magnet, and it supports you now.
Take a deep breath. Exhale. Another deep breath. And exhale. One more deep breath. Hold it at the top. And exhale. We are so excited that you're here. We have been waiting for you to see yourself and the gifts you naturally have. The invaluable, precious, rare stones of purity that you are here to share with the world. You are designed to see others in a way they cannot see themselves. Situations that are easy for you to sort out, but are not for others. Relationships that need support. Projects that need adjusting. Souls that need guiding. You are here to improve the landscape of the world as we know it. You are meant to be seen for the rarity that you are. You are meant for more. You are success. Your every being is compiled of the unique blueprint that builds success. It is your flow state, your habitat, your oasis, your oxygen, your water, your sunlight. It is what is naturally meant to exist all around you at all times. It is time to serve, to be of service in your highest form, your most authentic expression. You are so needed in order for this world to evolve. You and your expression of your innate gifts are what will move the needle on this next level of expansion. It is time to step in this role that you were born to play and line up with all that is meant for you. To live in flow, to listen to your body, to rest, to be, to trust, to receive, to be the compass for the world to see what's possible, to change the paradigm, to change reality as you see it today. You are the change makers, the way showers, the guides, the oracles, the prophets. It is your job, your mission, your purpose to become this empowered, gifted, talented, evolved version of yourself. Other souls are waiting for you in this very moment to show them the way, to show them what's possible, to be what they didn't know they were missing. You are the missing piece, the key, the final step into unleashing the power of your world. Projectors in their power are extremely potent beings. Your energy and aura is not to be taken lightly. It can move mountains. Own this. Yield it with pride and knowing. You are essential. You are powerful. And you are ready to step into this next phase of yourself. To be surrounded by love and support from those who understand you and who also want you to succeed. You deserve to feel seen, to know you are valued for your natural gifts, and to be celebrated for what you bring to this world. See yourself. Understand the power of your alignment. Know that the way you desire to express yourself is your personal key to success. It's already within you now. You have everything you need. Follow your joy, what lights you up, what makes you feel alive, and the rest will reveal itself. We see you. We always see you for who you are, but especially when you have trouble seeing yourself. We see you. We see you. We are always guiding you, always supporting you, always providing for you. See yourself as we see you, and your world will never be the same. Take a moment to focus on your heart space. Take a deep breath into that area. Hold it at the top and release. We're going to do this 2 more times. Take another deep breath, filling your chest, holding at the top, and release. And take 1 more, the deepest you've taken today. Hold it at the top and release. Allow love to fill this space. Love for yourself, love for a family member or a loved one, maybe a pet. Fill this space with love up to the brim. And now when you're ready, allow this love to spill out and all over your body. Allow it to flow down your arms, down your torso, down your legs, to your feet and the tip of your toes. Visualize it going up your shoulders, up your neck, into your head and up to your third eye, and then up and out the top of your crown. Let it permeate the edges of your body and release into the room all around you. Sit in this energy of love. Steep in it. Breathe it in. Allow it to consume you. You are precious. You are needed. You are everything. You are magic. And the world see you for who you really are.
In just a moment, I'm going to count down from 5. And when I reach 1, you'll feel more awake and ready to take on the rest of your day. 5, allowing for the shifts in your energy to integrate into your body now. 4, bringing awareness back into your breath. 3, without judgment, just notice how you feel now. 2, giving yourself gratitude for receiving today. And 1, more awake, opening your eyes, coming back into your body. Allowing yourself to come back to the computer screen when you're ready. Welcome back, everyone. Just before we leave you for today, first of all, thank you so much for spending this last hour and a half with us. It's been truly incredible. So exciting to share about all of us as projectors and for you guys to come into this in the start of this community group that we are having. So we do want to offer you a kind of explain how we are setting up our offers for the next moment or so. Okay, so here we are. Successful Projector. So regularly the commitment will be $111 a month, but for the next 48 hours, what we are offering is joining for 3 months and you will receive 1 month for free. So the 3-month container will be $222. So basically you'll be receiving one of those 3 months for free. So after this session in about 2 hours, I will be sending out an email to everyone with a link to sign up for this offer. And this 3-month container opportunity will only be available for the next 48 hours. You will also receive a link for this replay as well. So if the meditation was really supportive to you and really helpful to you, you'll have the ability to replay it and to listen to it or anything else we went through today, because there was a lot of information. So Micki, did you want to share anything as well?
No, I mean, I just, we've gone, an hour and a half and I want to respect everybody's time. So if anyone has any questions about anything that we covered today, you can find Skylar and I on Instagram. I don't have our handles up here, but I believe everybody on here is probably already following us. You can respond to the email that you would have gotten for this event. Even you can ask Skylar any questions. I want to make sure that you are feeling excited and, confident about joining us, because, I want you to feel aligned in joining this group. So, don't leave any room for doubt. If you have any questions at all, you can get a hold of us. Yeah, that was really fun. I had a great time. I hope everybody else did too.
Since I have you all here, I will put the link in the comments as well. Right now, you're going to receive an email too, but I'll put a link in the comments so you can just see more details of what the Projector group is all about. And we do have a payment plan as well for the 3 months that will be offered for the 48. So basically you're paying $77 a month for 3 months, or you can pay all in full, no problem. So let me just get this up here for you. Let me find it.
Do you have any questions while we're chilling? If not, that's okay. More like logistical ones, I guess.
Okay, there's the link for you. Oh, maybe I sent that just to Paula for some reason. There we go. That's for everybody. That's the link to sign up for our community event if this has spoken to you and if you'd like to be a part of the event. And we will send a reminder email as well. It was such an honor to spend this time with you all. Thank you for taking the time and spending it with us. And hopefully you've received some benefit from this today.
Yes. Go out there, be intentional with your time. Own the fact that you're a kick-ass projector.
Yes. So cool to meet you all too.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.